All right. Hopefully everyone is having a perfect day, regardless of what it's doing, how it's going. Make sure you say it's perfect, because it is, because you make it perfect or not. Anyways, I'm going to talk about the blame game. And I say this because I'm talking from experience. Just taking any kind of accountability was kind of difficult. It was very easy to come up with excuses. It's very easy to blame everything outside of you. You will try and look for excuses. Like if there's no excuse, you will research something to find an excuse. And make sure that it's not your fault, because your ego tries to protect you in that sense, in that if you do realize something is your fault, that identity that you were functioning as will be destroyed if you do not want to continue functioning as that identity. Meaning, right, there's infinite expressions of you. There's infinite universes. Every identity is fighting for its own survival, right? So that's why people say it's like, oh, it's really hard to quit stuff. Yeah, because the identity that you function as has committed to doing whatever habit, or maybe partaking in a certain addiction, or telling you lies that it's difficult to overcome something, right? Because it's a lot easier to blame something else than to take accountability for it. Whether that be genetics, your parents, your friends, just anything, right? Relationships, jobs. I can't do this because XYZ. You will say anything to avoid accountability because your ego is protecting itself, right? And holding yourself accountable is uncomfortable, because you will always, as you're functioning from the old identity that you're trying to kill, that is, accountability is an attack on self, in a sense, because you are seeing something that you don't like. So your higher self is seeing something within you that you do not like, right? And then you decide to kill that identity, right? So I don't know if anyone's seen the movie The One, I forgot what it was called, with Jet Li. Jet Li, main character, he travels between universes, and he kills himself in the other universes, so he becomes stronger. So his expression becomes stronger. And I think it's very similar, where when you kill the versions of you that you don't like, meaning the addicted versions, the ones that have anger management, the ones that can't, that are slaves to things outside of themselves, and the one that uses the external to validate themselves, when in reality, they're what the universe needs validation from. It's not the other way around. Everything comes from us. But when you cannot observe yourself, you will continue to point fingers. When you're unable to take accountability, you will continue to point fingers. It will be everyone's fault. It'll be like, oh, the fucking, the reason it was messed up was because the wind was a certain way, and it caused me to act a certain way, and the moon did something, and now I was super emotional, or all the overflowing power. I can't look, this is coming from me. It's very difficult to take accountability, and it wasn't until like being in love that kind of frames it in a way where it's like, I've been fucking up. I've been showing up as the wrong person. Let me show up the way I want to show up. And then you make movements, and you start killing off, versions of yourself that you don't like, or you start changing behaviors that you don't like. Because oftentimes at the beginning, we don't know. We're very we unconsciously do a lot of things based on how we were raised, how our upbringing was, and then you need to have an awareness. You need to be conscious and have an awareness, so you can actually change what you want to change. And if you don't have the awareness, you are going to continue making the mistake, right? And even you could set alarms throughout the day, right? And just you could do it twice an hour, for a 3 hour span, 4 times an hour for a 3 hour span. You know, do it every so often. There's apps out there that can give you a notification every once in a while. And what you do, you set the alarms, go on your day. You know who you want to be, how you want to change, what you want to do with your life. You know it. You at least if you're watching this, you probably know you want to experience something else. So you know you want to do something. And then go on with your day. Every time that beeps, every time the alarm goes off or you get a notification, pause. Observe yourself. What were you thinking? Were you just droning? Were you on autopilot? Were you in the present? Were you functioning as the person that you say you want to be? Right? Like, are you being the version of yourself that you want to be? Because the old version of us, or the bad habits and the old behaviors that we often try to change, will fight for its life, right? So there's many times that we do things on autopilot. And if you're not aware, or if you're running on autopilot, you will fall back to certain thoughts, certain emotions that you don't even know. And this happens especially if you're doing like a monotonous task or a task that doesn't require that much brain power. You will subconsciously just fall back. So set these alarms, set these notifications, set them every 3 times in an hour, 4 times in an hour, and just observe yourself. Make sure to observe yourself, because what ends up happening, and again, I'm not speaking like judgmentally, I'm not speaking any sort of way, because anything I say in the channel, trust me, I've had to think about it. I've also had to go through stuff. I'm still going through stuff, because you're constantly choosing your reality, right? So sometimes you will have to remind yourself what's going on in the reality, because there's times that 3D, our external world, is going to tell you otherwise. It's going to say, look, like, you're bullshitting, or you're over here, you're being super self-confident, have confidence in self, saying, you're the fucking man, everyone wants to hire you, everyone wants to be with you, whatever it is, right? Saying whatever your identity that you're trying to shift to is. And then the 3D is going to send you something. It's not the world testing you. A lot of people are like, oh, the world tests us. No, the world doesn't test you. It is echoes from your old self, because the external is from your old identity. So what ends up happening is that when you shift your being, it instantly changes. Your reality instantly changes, but a lot of the shifts take a minute to manifest or come into vision. So you have to work from the perspective or the knowing that once you decide something, it's done, it's changed. But to do that, you cannot blame anyone. Like, it has to be, because life comes from us. If life comes from you, you cannot blame people for stuff that you caused, right? So you can't be like, oh, it's all your fault, or like, yeah, everyone does this for dumb shit. Like, it's oh, my family does this, or it's my family's fault, or my friends do this, or oh, it's I'm there's like actual stuff that people say now. It's like, oh, you're the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. It's like, no, you're not. You decide who you are. Now there's a chance that you will get comfortable in certain behaviors if you are subconsciously existing. Meaning, if you are not deciding who you are, yes, that is probably true, because you will be the person that you're around, because that's what you're exposed to most of the time. So that's how you will express yourself, because that's all you know. That's all you see. That's why a lot of people that, if they're raised a certain way, if your parents argued a lot, you're probably going to be argumentative. You're probably like unless you make a decision to say, look, I'm not going to be like this. Look, I'm not going to yell at somebody regardless of what happens, right? That's not me. I've seen anger get, I've seen anger do terrible things. Like people acting out of anger, hurting people that they care about. So I told myself, and this isn't even the identity I'm functioning from now, but like even before, I told myself, I was like, look, I will never be angry with anyone I care about. I will never speak negatively of anyone I care about. And I will never put hands on or raise my voice, or, I will never do any of that, ever. Because I decided that. That was before like trying to be like God mode, I guess. But if you decide stuff, you're making a conscious decision. If you don't decide anything and you're letting your circumstances decide for you, you're not living. You're on autopilot. These are not your actions. These are the actions of the identity that is controlling you, which means that you've been on autopilot for God knows how long, right? So you have to decide if you want to live or not. Do you like autopilot? Is autopilot cool? Fucking then live autopilot. Like you're a powerful God. You're allowed to live your life however you want. So if you want to step into your power, you can't point fingers. You can't do the blame game. If you want to be a victim, yeah, play the blame game. It's a way to skate accountability. It will not bring growth, however, but you can experience it that way, because again, to the infinite or to God, everything is neutral. So there really isn't a bad or a good, right? Like a dollar bill and $100 bill is the same thing to the infinite. It doesn't matter, right? We're the ones that give stuff meaning. So don't play the blame game. Like, let's do a self audit, figure out what's going on. Understand that life comes from you. Understand that the way you see things is a reflection of you. And if you want to change it, change it. If you don't want to change it and you want to stay in the blame shifting, yeah, then do that. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I am just talking. So God bless, all love, it's a beautiful day. And if you don't feel like it's a beautiful day, or if you don't feel like it's a perfect day, say it's so, because you are powerful and you decide how you want your day to go. So yeah, stop playing the blame game. Figure out where you're functioning from, figure out what your current identity is, and understand that your current identity isn't you. You are the observer observing the identities go in and out, right? Which means that you could shift to any identity you want at any time. Which means that once you constantly choose to live life that you want to live, understand that you choose your reality, and that there's infinite realities. So you don't have to worry about, it's manipulation or whatever, or dumb shit, right? If everyone's the same, right? Because everyone is like functioning from divinity. Everyone is you, and you are everyone, right? Like God is everywhere. So there is no difference. So just know that your reality is your own, and stop addressing blame unless you want to stay a victim. If you want to stay a victim, then yeah, go do whatever you want. But stop addressing blame to stuff outside of yourself, because everything comes from you. And when everything comes from you, that is one of the most empowering things ever, right? Because if everything comes from you, you are in control. You are the all-powerful. You are the one that sets your existence. You're the one that decides how you want to live, what you want to do. You give yourself everything, right? Because acting from the divine, you give yourself infinite love. You give yourself unconditional love. You give yourself wealth, like more wealth than you need. You give yourself safety, security. You give yourself confidence. You give yourself all of this stuff, right? A self-respect, self-esteem. You give yourself anything you want because you're the divine. So give it to yourself. Whatever the external world is saying, it doesn't matter. Because the external world is trying to remind you that you are not divine. And you're powerless, right? Everything in the external world is trying to remind you that you don't have power. Because you make a change, and then what does the external world do? It tries to tell you, oh, you made a mistake. Oh, you have to adjust. Oh, you're doing something wrong. You have to check how to do it. Oh, look, any move you make is divine intervention or divine alignment because you are divine. So, you know, you don't got to wait for the moons to be a certain way. You don't wait for the wandering stars and the planets to be a certain way. If you want, do it. If you want to do it, just know that it doesn't matter. Unless you say it matters. Tarot, if you want to do tarot to figure out your shit, do that. Now, I will say, I think I'm going to make a video about this. God plays. So you could do stuff like that, but you have to be working from the knowing and the identity that the tarot or the wandering stars or the alignment or all this stuff is not what's being powerful, but rather the divinity in you is playing and letting these things function for your favor, because everything works out for your favor. So yeah, have an awesome day, beautiful day, make it the best. You have the power to. So, till next time.